take us through the Rosa Parks story. Very familiar with a lot of people, but it's about the Montgomery bus boycott. And what I always like to make sure people understand is one of the most significant parts of the Montgomery bus boycott was not so much the incident on the bus of Rosa Parks not giving up her seat, but what this led to was the introduction to the world of Martin Luther King Jr. He was asked to come and lead the boycott, and that's what gained him national fame and introduced him to the country as a civil rights leader. And I always think that's the most important part of this movement. So we have the story of the boycott, Martin Luther King Jr., and then we're going to go straight from that into the I Have a Dream speech. And if you want to follow along of the I Have a Dream speech, it's inside your program. And if, I forgot to mention this, but all of Haiti's poems are on the back of the program as well. So if you want to follow along with her, she's on Freedom 3 right now. And take it away, Haiti.
Some folks think by burning churches they burn freedom. Some folks think by imprisoning me they imprison freedom. Some folks think by killing a mass they kill freedom. But freedom stands up and laughs in their faces and says, no, not so, no. Although slavery was declared illegal in the United States in 1863, many southern states put Jim Crow law into effect. These laws kept the whites and blacks population separate. The two races used different water cups as restrooms. They entered movements by different doors. Inside they sat in different sections. Under the Jim Crow law, suburbs didn't mean equal. On public buses, African Americans were only allowed to sit or stand at the very back of the bus. Whenever there weren't enough seats in the white section, black people seated closest to the white section were expected to give up their seat.
Lord, it's so to sit down. It's been such a long day. Hello, Mrs. Sparks. Isn't it a fine evening? Yes, it is. The keeping you busy at this farmer store? I believe everyone in Mobile who can let out a new brand is on the shirt this week.
Where's your NAACP workshop being held at?
We got moved to Alabama State. I just found out tonight. Gotta give me those front seats. Oh, better make the ladder so we can those front seats. Better get moving right fast. I'm not moving. You want to call police? They'll drag you down to the police station. I'll do two things. One, I'm not moving.
You better move, Miss Park. She's gonna get us all in trouble. I'm so tired of these stupid rules. I wish I had the guts to stand up to this. Don't move, Rosa. You stay right there where you are.
Hey, you! Come on, please. I got a black sign before we get on seat.
Look, you're the rule. Why do you just stand and go to the back? Don't be hungry for me, no?
I'll make you get up. What's the problem? And go when back there won't go over seat. Don't get her.
Why didn't you stand up when you're supposed to?
I'm tired. I paid the same money as anybody else. I deserve to sit down. You don't get to sit down all you want in jail.
Look, you don't know the rules. What good does it do to break them?
I'd like to make a phone call. Oh, really, go.
What's your name?
Rosa Parks.
Address?
514 West Avenue.
Please stand on there, please. You gotta take your fingerprints and mustache. Make sure please say you just make a phone call.
Come on, you're not going to let her make the call. She'll call what's his name, the NAACP. She works for me.
I think we heard the NAACP. One call, I had to make sure.
Parks is me. I'm in jail. No, I'm alright. They haven't hurt me yet. Just come and get me as quick as you can.
Police station? Who? Parks? Rosa Parks? I don't know. Let me check. Click. That's what I call handling the NAACP.
Word spread of Rosa's arrest. E.D. Nixon at the NAACP called the jails to find out what the charges were, but the officers wouldn't tell him. He also called Fred Gray, a local black lawyer. Gray agreed to help Rosa. Parks, Rosa's husband, called several friends for his bail money for Rosa. They all went to the station. After Rosa was released that night, they all gathered at the Park's house.
I know it's been a long day for you, Rose, but even though we basically go unnoticed, you're not a woman. You have integrity. Everyone in the whole knows that. I don't care if you feel very wrong. You know it's a perfect test case against both sides. I know that's not this way. There you go, perfect. You fight the team up? You bet I will. Parks, like these, anyone see you? We have to make this a big event. We need to do more than bring the gates to work. I'm going to call Joanne Robinson and see if the political council can help us organize the boycott of the bus.
And the white folks can have all the seats they want. Those buses will be more than half empty.
I'd like to call the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. for the Dexter message. He's a powerful speaker. He'll get our message across.
They're right. This is not going to be. It's going to be easier than always having to give up your seat.
Later that night, Edie planned a boycott with the new minister at the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. The new pastor's name was Martin Luther King Jr.
What's happening in a lot of organization? We need a place to come together and coordinate our efforts. I was hoping we could use the church as a meeting place. And I was hoping to provide some leadership, Reverend King.
I don't think that's such a good idea. I've only been here for a year. I don't think the people will accept me as a leader.
The situation is not going to be perfect. We have to try to rise to the occasion and do the best that we can.
I can see the urgency of the situation. Yes, let's use the church as the headquarters. How do you think we should handle the boycott?
Volunteers are making leaflets telling people not to ride buses on Monday. We also set up carpools so people can still get to work. And black cab drivers that agree to give people rides for 10 cents.
The next day, one woman of the political council passed out handbills about the boycott on street corners and at bus stops.
Don't ride the bus on Monday.
A black woman has been arrested and put in jail because she refused to give up her seat.
If you take a cab, share ride or walk, call us and we'll help you for it.
There's a meeting on Monday night at 7 o'clock at the Whole Street Baptist Church. Find out more about what we can do.
On December 5th, 1955, the buses in Montgomery, Alabama were empty. People who had cars gave rides to those who had no transportation. Many people walked. That night at the Whole Street Baptist Church was packed with many people who wanted more of the boycott. Martin Luther King Jr., leader of the newly formed Montgomery Improvement Association, led the discussion.
We're here because we are American citizens, and we return to our citizenship to the fullest.
Yeah!
There comes a time when people get tired of being trampled. There comes a time, my friends, when people get tired of being subjected to humiliation and despair. There comes a time when people get tired. We're here this evening to say we are tired of being kicked about.
Yeah!
We have a long road ahead of us, brothers and sisters. Our enemies will try to pull us down to the pit of hatred. Remember, we can all have hatred in our hearts and see justice at the same time. We must meet violence with non-violence.
Show us the way!
We have nothing left to do or protest. Our protest will be non-violent. Our method will be to persuade. Remember, as the Bible says, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, and pray for them that despitefully use you. We must not become bitter and end up hating all white people. As Booker T. Washington said, let no one pull you as low as he can as to make you hate him.
God bless you, Brother King!
Right here in Montgomery, in the history books that we're in, it'll say that there lives a race of people, black people, with the moral courage to die for their rights.
It's true!
In the meantime, let's stick together and work together if we are to win our rights as American citizens. This boycott will keep on going, for what we're doing is right. What we're doing is just.
Hallelujah!
I believe today's boycott was very successful. Now we must decide whether or not to keep it going. Please stand up if you want to keep it going. Reverend Abernathy, please read the rules and plans we have drafted to let the people decide whether or not this is what they want to do.
Here are the conditions that must be met to end the boycott. Number 1, all negro passengers must receive polite treatment from the bus drivers. Number 2, all passengers must be seated on a first-come, first-served basis. And number 3, negro drivers should be hired for routes to negro neighborhoods. All who agree to these conditions, please stand. And now it's to our gratitude to Miss Rosa Parks.
The Montgomery bus boycott lasted an entire year. During that time, Rosa Parks was in court several times. The Parks received bomb threats and many black churches were destroyed. On December 20, 1956, the United States Supreme Court and local laws requiring segregation was against the Constitution. By refusing to give up her seat, Rosa Parks changed the course of history. Hold fast the dreams where dreams die. Life is a broken bird that cannot fly. Hold fast the dreams where dreams go. Life is a barren field filled with snow.
I'm happy to join you today, and we'll go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation.
5 years ago, a great American and just of all each other, we stand today, signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This moment of history gave us a great beacon of light to hope of millions of Negro slaves who have been seeing the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous liberty to end a long night of captivity.
But 100 years later, the Negro is still not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negroes was started promoted by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro still lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro still languishes in the corners of American society, expressing himself in excellence on national level from motivation to jump to a shameful condition.
In a sense, we have come to our nation's capital to catch a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to follow. This note was a promise to all men, yes, black men as well as white men, will be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring the sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great box of opportunity of this nation. So we have come to cash this check, a check that gives upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come in this hollow spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off to take the train line drug of gradualism.
Now is the time to make real the promise of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the darkened deserts of valley of segregation to the southern path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksand of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of this moment. The sweltering summer in the Negroes' legitimate discontent will not pass until there is an irrigating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end but a beginning. To also hold that the Negro leaders below sea and happy content will not pass and will have a rude awakening as the nation faces return to people. There will be neither rights nor tranquility in America until the Negro is guaranteed citizenship rights. The whirlwind of revolt will continue to shake our foundations of our nation until the birthday of justice emerges.
But there is something I must say to my people who stand before us, which leads to the path of justice. We force us in our rightful place. We shall not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek our satisfaction for peers by drinking the cup of bitterness and hatred.
We must forever conduct our struggle on a high plane of dignity and civility. We must not allow career protests to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to majestic heights and the invincible force of soul force. The marvelous luminosity which is engulfing the community must not lead us to be punished to white people. As many of our brothers and evidenced by your presence here today have come to realize that their destiny is our destiny. They have come to realize that their freedom should be bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone. As we walk mercy the planet that we shall always march ahead, we cannot turn back. There are those who are acting as evil to civil rights. When will this be satisfied?
We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is a victim of the unschooled horse of police brutality. We can never be satisfied as long as our bodies, heavy with the fatigue of travel, cannot get lodging from the motels of the highways and hotels of the cities. We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro's basic mobility is from a small ghetto to a large one. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped themselves from box opportunity by signs saying for whites only. We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and the Negro in New York police can nothing to which to vote. No, we are not satisfied. And we can never be satisfied until justice rolls down like water of righteousness like a mighty stream.
I am not unloved as some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulations. Some of you have come fresh in your jail cells. Some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution and staggered by the winds of police brutality. You have been the veterans suffering. Continue to work that the pain that unearned suffering is redemptive.
Back to Mississippi, go back to Alabama, go back to South Carolina, go back to Georgia, go back to Louisiana, go back to the slums and ghettos of the nursery cities, knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. There is not water in the valley of despair.
I say to today, my friends, so even though I face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream that is deeply rooted into the American dream.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise and live out the true meanings of its creed. We hold this truth to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day at the railroads of Georgia, some of the former slaves and some of the former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood.
I have a dream that one day in the state of Mississippi, state sovereignty and justice, social oppression will be transformed into oasis and freedom and justice.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin but by the content of their character.
I have a dream today.
I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with words of interposition and nullification, that one day, right there in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls can join hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers.
I have a dream today.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed and all flesh shall see it together.
This is our goal. With this faith that I go back to the Southwest. With this faith, we will be able to launch new lives and spirit into stone hope. With this faith, we'll be able to transform the genuine discord of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we'll be able to work together, pray together, struggle together, go to jail together, stand for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all God's children will be able to sing with the new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty of the sea. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrims right from every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America's be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the hiding Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the crazy slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from the stone mountains of Georgia. Let freedom ring from the Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And when this happens, will we allow freedom to ring? Will we let it ring from every village, from every house, from every state, and every state? Will we will be able to speed up the day when all God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hands and sing the words of old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
That is our presentation. Parents, if I could have about 5 minutes with you and you alone without your children, I just have a quick thing I need to discuss with the parents in my room. So I'll let you have about a couple minutes with your kids and then meet me in my room in about 3 minutes.
Oh, she turned it on.